Excel Language School. A real passion for learning.
Hi, it's David again from the Excel Language School, and once again today I'm going to be talking about IELTS Task 1 writing. And if you remember from the previous time, Task 1 writing is the first of 2 writings that you have to do, and it's about 1/3 of your grade, and we recommend that you take about 20 minutes to work on it. And if you remember from last time, you get a chart or a graph, and you have to look at it and describe it in 150 words.
Now, I gave this essay a 6.5, and I thought it was a good essay, but the student made a mistake in that the essay was too long. It was about 200 words. And again, the essay is supposed to be 150 words, but maybe if you have 165, it's still okay. But 200 is way too long. If you write 200 words, first of all, you will get a lower score, and second of all, you will have less time to write the other essay, which is really more important and gets you a higher score. So this brings up an interesting question, which is, how can you know when you're writing how many words you have written? Now, of course, you can stop and count your words. 1, 2, 3, but you don't have time to do that because you have a lot of writing to do in 1 hour. So I suggest something to my students, which is a solution, right? And I want to give you that tip today. Okay, so right below this video, in the description section, there is going to be a link, and if you click on the link, it will take you to a place on the internet where it has the official form that they use on the IELTS in printable form. Now, I recommend to you that when you're practicing, you print the form and you actually do your writing on the form. And now this is very important because once you've done 2 or 3 or 4 practice essays on the form, you can count your words and you can see, okay, when I finished page 1, how many words do I have? Now, everyone's handwriting is different. Some people's handwriting is big, some is small. So the answer will be different for everybody. But you should know for you, when you finish the first page, how many words have you written? And of course, that is going to help you on the test, because when you finish the first page, you can say to yourself, oh, I've written 170 words, and you know you only have to write 1 or 2 more sentences to finish your essay. Now, in this case, if I remember correctly, the student writes about 12 words on every line, and there are 17 lines. So on the first page, she already has 190 words, which is way too long. But then she goes to the second side and she writes 2 or 3 more sentences. So this means that it is a much, much too long essay, and if she wants to get a better grade, she is really going to have to think about how she can say the same thing in fewer words. Okay, and you will see the student starts the essay by using the words, the given graph. Now, I think maybe in a previous video I might have talked about this phrase, the given graph, which a lot of students like to use, but I don't understand, especially the word given. You can say the same thing if you just say the graph or this graph or perhaps this line graph. Now, of course, that is only one word. It's not very important for your final score, but I want students to be aware that when you are writing, every word is important, and you shouldn't use any words that are not really necessary. Okay, and I felt the student's opening paragraph was very good, and the good writing continues into the second paragraph, but you'll see on the first line of the second paragraph, the student misspells the name of the city, Seattle. Now, of course, for the IELTS, you don't have to memorize the spellings of all American cities. But in this case, the student had the name of the American city written on the question, on the graphic. And so the problem was that the student didn't copy it correctly. And that is the sort of careless error that people make when they feel pressure. So remember, on the IELTS, you're going to copy certain information off the graphic and just make sure that you copy it correctly. So next, you'll see at around 6 lines into the second paragraph, the student has written that the city of Austin has about 0.5 food truck before rising significantly. And this raised an important detail, I thought, which is especially important if you're going to be writing a Task 1 essay. Now, this detail is what is singular and what is plural. Now, I'm sure you've learned English for a long time and you know 1 is singular and 2 is plural. But what about a number like 1.5 or 1/2, 0.5? Is that singular or plural? Well, the answer is that the singular is the number 1 only. And so if you have anything else like 1.5 or 0.5, that is plural. So in this case, the student should be writing something like 0.5 food trucks with the S at the end of the word. So after that, you will see that I added the words approximately and about in the student's writing. And so approximately and about are examples of hedging language. And so hedging language is the language you use when you are not 100% sure about something. You're not sure that the number is 4.2, so you say approximately 4.2 or slightly more than 4. And this is something you should always do on an IELTS Task 1 essay if you are not 100% sure what the number is. Moving to the next paragraph, you'll see that the student wrote, the number of food trucks in Chicago grew sharply and slowly. So you will see the student was trying to use some adverbs in her writing, which is excellent, something that she should do, but she made a mistake because sharply means a lot and slowly means a little. So something cannot grow both sharply and slowly at the same time. They can be one or the other. Now, moving on to the second page of the student writing, you'll see that the ending of the essay is a little weak. Now, the student felt that she needed to put another summary at the end, which was not really a wise decision because the student had already adequately summarized the data before, and the essay is already too long. So the student should not have written so much. Instead, the student should have used the time to go back and check the essay again for careless error, like misspelled words, and then she should have moved on to the next task. So, thank you all for watching this YouTube video from the IELTS Language School, and I hope that I will see you again soon for another video on writing IELTS.
Excel Language School. A real passion for learning.